All right, welcome everybody. Dr. Keith here. Happy Monday, December 21st. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing well. Excellent, thank you, Al. And you can see my PowerPoint slides, can you, Al? Excellent. All right, so folks, I promise today will not be too long. I'm going to review. Had a lot of folks inquire about the Heikin-Ashi system, and I've created a scan. So I just wanted to do a quick review today on how and why I use Heikin-Ashi. Okay, and then I'm going to just kind of show you the cool scan that I've got created. Okay, so again, before we get started, make sure you read over this. Anytime you're trading, right, there's risk involved. Never trade with money you don't have or cannot afford to lose. Not only just from a pure ethical standpoint, but also just from the standpoint mentally, you're not going to do well if you need it in order to make money, because until you become a professional. Because what happens is, and it's been proven year over year, your mentality, your psychology will change, right, as you start losing money, especially if it's to pay rent and so forth. So again, holiday season, just want to make sure never trade money you can't afford to lose, folks. Okay, so again, it's going to be a short agenda today, probably 30 minutes tops today. I'm going to review the Heikin-Ashi again. Again, those of you that haven't attended one before, if you go to my YouTube, you'll see one that I had a while ago, okay, as well. We're going to talk about the scan. I'm going to show you how I use the scan, and then obviously give you that special offer, okay? I'll type that offer in there as well. And this is being recorded. So again, no worries there. If you can't make it or if you can't take notes, it will be sent out to you. So first and foremost, what is Heikin-Ashi? And as I mentioned before, the reason I've liked it so much is because I kind of think of it as my wife, okay? She's the more level-headed person. And she's the one that will sit back and analyze things appropriately and tell me to relax. And that's what I really do believe Heikin-Ashi allows me to do. It basically filters out market noise. Okay, it uses different moving averages. And again, you can all look on YouTube's and find out the formula for Heikin-Ashi. That's not the intent, and who cares? The bottom line is it's going to keep you in trends longer, and that's how we can all benefit from it, okay? What I've also noticed, everybody knows I love to use the Laguerre as my trigger. And when you have Heikin-Ashi lined up with the Laguerre, you're going to get phenomenal results more times than not, okay? And so I use Heikin-Ashi because it gives me a smoother chart appearance, and it really helps me stay into the trade. And I'm going to show you some charts today, just about 5 or 6 on some trades. No, I didn't take all these trades, but just to show you how you can stay into some of these trends. And that's how you're really going to grow your account, folks. You're going to have some wins, you're going to have some losses, but then you can have these big moves. Okay, and that's how everybody can significantly grow those accounts. Okay. So again, what I originally did was, if you look at these candlesticks here, okay, in the background is the Heikin-Ashi. And honestly, what I didn't like about it in the past, from a visual standpoint, is that doesn't tell you what actual price open and closes at. So as you go back and you're doing your research, or even during the day, if you need to know where is actual price, you have to go back and forth or have different monitors, one with price, one with Heikin-Ashi. And from a laziness standpoint, that always bothered me, okay? So what I had programmed, the white in this case is the actual opening price, and then the red is the close, okay? And then this is a Heikin-Ashi candle, so what that's showing you is that's a bullish green candle, and the open was here and the close was here, okay? More importantly though, it's showing you, okay, the bulls are winning this fight here, okay? And then so I created these dots, okay? And again, you can use any oscillator you want. What you see here is the Laguerre that I like to use, but any oscillator that you're comfortable with. and I just created dots. It says, okay, green is a bullish Heikin Ashi. Okay, it'll be a green candle. The yellow is a potential trend change. So if you had, in this case, you had a red dot, which means you would have had a red Heikin Ashi candle here, okay, up above. Then the next candle turned to a green Heikin Ashi. That's why it made it as a potential reversal or a yellow. And then we went from there, you had a second green Heikin Ashi, so that made a green dot. Okay, and I'll show you again this in live charts. I just wanted to kind of review that with everybody. So also when you're back testing and looking at past trades, you can compare it because it paints that picture for you. All right, so again, and actually, let me get rid of that for you. Okay, so now let me go to live charts. I told you again, I just really want to show you this in live charts. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then I'm going to share my screen. Okay. All right, so you now should be able to see my ThinkorSwim screen here. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was, I brought up, I'm going to bring up down here on the bottom, I'm going to bring up about 6 symbols, okay? This is Neo, okay, one of my favorites to look at from just a pure price standpoint, okay? So again, if you were using Heikin Ashi, when would you have entered this trade, okay? Well, you got a green dot here on November 5th, okay? So then depending on your oscillator, okay, you might have entered on November 5th. And again, I like to use the Laguerre, which is the one I use. Okay, so my entry was actually anywhere in these 3 or 4 dot range, okay? Typically, I like to wait until the Laguerre triggers and then the next bar opens, so on 11.9, okay? So I could have got into this trade on 11.9. And then 3 bars later, I got a red dot, okay? So that could have been a potential exit point, okay? Basically, let's just call that a break-even trade. But again, if you're bullish, you just wait. You got a yellow dot, right, which is the first green Heikin Ashi, and then right here on 11.17, we got our next entry. And if you took that entry, you are still in this trade, right? See, there's no red dots yet. This, folks, is where you can make your money. Okay, it's pretty simple rules. You're going to make roughly 80% of that trade. So when we finally peak on Neo and we get a red dot, from when the Laguerre triggered to when you get that red dot, you're going to make about 80% of that potential trade. Okay, could this be tomorrow, the next day, a month from now? We don't know. But look at that beautiful uptrend on Neo. Okay, this is where, again, so vitally important for everybody. When I'm mentoring clients, I hear all the time, well, I'm still happy. I could have made more, but a profit's a profit. And you're right, it certainly is better than a loss. Absolutely. But if you have specific rules and you can maximize your profits, folks, the market has no mercy, right? When you're losing, it's not going to say, well, this person's lost twice in a row, let's give them a break. So when you can beat the market, your goal should be to crush it, okay? Here's another example. Philip Morris, okay? We got a new trigger right here on 12.2, okay? If you did, you're still in this trade, right? We had to move down in the market today, right? So now the Laguerre's triggering short and we have a yellow dot. So what you could do one of 2 things for Philip Morris. You could wait to see if tomorrow closes another red bar, okay, with Heikin Ashi. If it does, then maybe you exit, okay? Or more conservative traders can get out on the close of the yellow dot, okay? Meaning it may reverse back, but I'm happy. Again, you made 80% of this trade for now. Those are one of your 2 options. I typically wait for the first red dot, which is the second red Heikin Ashi candle, okay? LLY, right? We had a Laguerre trigger back here. You got green dots. You could have exited right here, see right here, for a small win. But if you're bullish, get right back in on that next green dot. You're still in this trade, folks, from here to here, okay? A lot of times you might say, okay, this was a good up day. It's got to stop. But as long as you have solid green Heikin-Ashis like this, there's no reason to exit that trade, okay? Lows. Had a trigger on 12.9, okay? Still in this trade. Still in this trade if you took it, okay? What's going to be the high? We have no idea, right? But we know with high probability, as long as we continue to have green dots, this thing's going to head higher, okay? Disney, same thing. Back here, green dots, we got a Laguerre trigger on 11.4. Look at that, okay? Maybe you got out on this red dot right here. Get right back in 2 bars later. There's your trade. So it can help manage your risk, eliminate bigger losses. Then stocks have a tendency to run, right? You don't know which one, you don't know when, but that's how Heiken Ashi can really, really help you. PayPal, right? You had an entry here, you made some money, you had a new re-entry on December 15th, and PayPal hit new highs today. No reason to get out of this if you took this trade, okay? The difference is, and what I'm going to show you on my scan is, right, the Laguerre is not going to catch this, right? Because it didn't dip into the green. But we can do a scan for bullish activity going from yellow to green, and then you can decide if it's an entry you're looking for, okay? Can everybody hear me okay? I hear one person say they don't have sound. Just want to make, okay, might just be his computer, no worries. Okay. Google, here's a look to the downside, right? So you had a Laguerre trigger short right here. If you're in this short, when would you exit, right? You can protect yourself, take part of the trade off the table, maybe at the bottom band, but then you can stay in this trade until you get a green dot. And that's how you can make runners. Do we know where Apple's going to bottom? Absolutely not. And again, I'm not taking shorts right now, especially on Google, but I'm just showing you those of you that love to short, it's the same technique, okay? Sure, I can look at Apple real quick before we go into the scan. So Apple's a good example, right? You had a little retracement last week. If you really were bullish, you wanted to get back into Apple, right? 12.16 was the re-entry, okay? We got a yellow dot today at the close because you have a red Heiken Ashi. I would definitely wait on Apple to see if tomorrow closes red, which would then give you the red dot. I have a suspicion we're heading higher tomorrow, folks, okay? Sure, we can look at Deere. So Deere hit a recent high. Okay, we had a Laguerre trigger right here on what, the 15th, green dots. Now you're in this trade until you get a red dot. And again, when I say that, there's a way to manage this, right? If you did let's say you did an option play and you did 10 contracts, okay, or 5 contracts, whatever it is. I'm not keeping my full position. Okay, after I get a certain percentage, I'm eliminating my risk, but I'm not exiting the entire trade until I get a red dot or I'm out of break even on that rest of that trade. Okay. Absolutely though. What a nice trade there on Deere. Okay. Okay. So let me bring up the scan. Well, first let me summarize. So one of the issues I've had over the years with the Laguerre, and it's by design, folks, okay? The Laguerre is more conservative. So in this case, let's say you were bullish on Deere back in September. Okay, no scan with the Laguerre is going to catch this that I have, okay, as a potential re-entry, okay, right here. Okay, so what I wanted to was anytime I get a yellow dot and then it turns to green, tell me, okay? Because what I can do is then decide is a little bit more aggressive entry, hey, that's a good time to get back into the trade, right? You know, for example, when we were talking about Netflix, I mean, this was about as good of an entry you're going to get on Netflix, okay, on 11/27. Phenomenal seasonal coming. But anyway, okay, right here, we got back out, okay? Small profits, we got back out, and then you could re-enter right here on 12/15. See that? But you wouldn't have got that on the Laguerre, okay? Now, what you'll notice is when you get a green dot around the same time as the Laguerre, hello, let's make some money, folks. But there's plenty of instances where you just want to get back into a trade or get in a little bit more aggressive, and that's where the scan will help out. So let me show you. Okay, so what I have here is a scan that I've created. I'm going to load it, and I've got it under my personal, and it's going to be yellow to green daily, okay? Yellow to green daily. I'm going to sort all stocks. You can change this. You could change it to all symbols, all stocks. I mean, you can change it to anything you want. Okay, I'm going to keep it at all stocks for this scan. I'm going to hit scan. Okay, so for today, these are all the ones that went from a yellow dot to a green dot, meaning potential reversal, right, to the upside, because I'm bullish, folks. Okay, I'm still bullish. Today was a pretty bullish candle as well. So anyway, so here's a couple things you can do. You can just literally right click on any of them. I'm going to click, let me click on BFT, and I'm going to click on send to red, just because I've got my red chain here. And you see down here at the bottom, it went from yellow to green today. Okay, so that's a potential reentry. Now, do I like this reentry? No, we're right at a high, top of the band. There's better ones out there, but you get the gist of it, right? Okay, so let me show you a cooler technique though. So when I go back to the scan tab, okay, let's save this scan. And I already did, but let me just to show you. You can save this watch list and you can call it 12/21 yellow to green, okay? And then you would hit save, okay? Then you can go up here to your watch list, any of them, okay? And what you do is you go to personal and then whatever you called it, okay? If you do it by date, it's easier to track, okay? So I already did that and I have them right here. So these are the ones that were today that went from yellow to green, okay? Then you can just go down the list and take a look at the charts. Now, some of you that have, you know, a lot of my seasonal stuff, you're going to say, well, Dr. K, you don't have your 20, 40, 60 here. You don't have your Laguerre. You can absolutely put all of that in here. I'm not for the demonstration of this webinar, okay? But absolutely, I only trade in the direction of a seasonal move, folks. Okay, that's my style. That doesn't mean it's yours. So ALKS, you see, it went from yellow to green. Again, not going into that one, too high in price. Yellow to green, okay? Maybe you like ALT. Well, this might be a potential entry. APT, you got a Laguerre trigger and a green dot. Maybe this is the breakout you were waiting for, okay? BEKE, yellow to green. So here's an example though, again, if you liked this stock for whatever reason, whether it has seasonality or your own techniques, okay? Going from yellow to green means you have two green Heikin-Ashis after red. That's a potential reversal, okay? But the Laguerre scan will not find that. Let me just kind of go through a couple. I'm seeing if there's any that I really like here. So this is a pretty good one. Green Power Motor, GP, right? We hit recent highs at 32. It retraced to the bottom or to the middle band or so. Now you got a yellow to green dot here with a Laguerre trigger, okay? Don't you think this could retest those highs? Absolutely, right? I'm just seeing what else I like here while I got you. So here's another one. Aluminum Technologies, come down to the middle band, bam. Now this would have showed up on the Laguerre trigger as well, Okay, so that's like so we have a lot of things going on right here, folks. We've got a combo, we've got a Laguerre, green dots, pretty good opportunity there on LAZR. Okay, but here's a good example with net. So this has been riding the top of the band. We had a recent high, but you're getting a green dot. So again, the Laguerre will never catch that. Okay, and again, I'm not going in at highs at the top of the band, but some of you may like that technique. Here's a good example here, TBIO. Been in an uptrend, now you're getting a green dot, even though the Laguerre's not, okay, even though the Laguerre isn't giving you that re-entry, maybe you like that, or there's a good seasonal move, you can check all of that out, right? So it's giving you a lot of different options there, okay? Now let's look at you bears. Let's look at the yellow to reds, okay? And there's quite a few of those today, right, with the market. So again, remember, yellow to red, high point resources. Maybe you like that short play. AMD, which I would never short right now, but again, yellow to red. Okay. Big, yellow to red. So you can do a scan every day when the market opens up or in the evening, and you can look for your preferences. Okay. See how it goes from yellow to red. And again, all you do once you get it, you go to the scan, and this is a yellow to green here. You can go from all stocks. You could do something like public R-W or public here and go to futures or Forex, ETFs, right? That's all normal scanning within ThinkorSwim. I just had it custom made to find yellow to green or yellow to red, okay? Okay. Let's see, there's a couple questions. Can you explain the meaning of white line and the green line in the red zones? Oh, well, so this is just the Laguerre RSI, which is my favorite oscillator, okay? So basically when it's in, like in this case, when it goes into the green and then it comes out, okay, that's a really good long play, okay? Potential long play. And then if you have a green Heiken Ashi dot, okay, that's even better. So look at the one on 914. It came into the green, it came out, green Heiken Ashi. When would you have got out of this trade based on all those rules? Keep going, no red dot, no red dot, no red dot, no red dot, no, oh, here we go, right here. That's a pretty good pick of the top, isn't it? 80% of that move, that's how that happens, okay? No idea going into this trade that it was going to, Bed Bath & Beyond was going to do that, right? But Heiken Ashi says, just relax, Keith, no reason to get out at this point, okay? No, crossing of the dots isn't the trigger. At least I don't use it that way. I do it personally when the Laguerre comes out, okay? But you can use any oscillator. So if you have a MACD, let's say you like MACD, okay? You could just use the dots with the MACD, okay? So my triggers are my favorite triggers are when the Laguerre, the white dotted line, passes out of the green, and I have a green or yellow dot going higher, okay? Or if the move's already happened, you could have went right here from a yellow to a green, which won't show up on the Laguerre scan, but it'll show up on your Heiken Ashi scan. You could have got in right here. Makes sense? That's where the advantage is, okay? Any questions on that? The bottom line is you can have your own triggers or you can use what I use. But what I wanted to show you today was that you can now run scans that are telling you potential reversals, okay? What the Heiken Ashi scan has, it's going to have the yellow to green daily and then the yellow to red. So you can run a bullish and bearish scan every day looking for yellow to green and yellow to red dots, okay? Sure, we can look at Acadia real quick. So here's an example where we had a green dot, Laguerre trigger, Okay, everybody that has my service knows we're long Acadia right now. Okay, but again, you know, look at the beautiful move down, and then Heikin-Ashi and Laguerre saying, okay, this is reversing now. We're at the bottom band. You know, let's go higher. And this has a great seasonal move to the upside, folks. Okay. So Ed asked a great question. Eventually, okay, eventually, on the Laguerre and the green dot, I can do that for TradeStation already. Okay, but the bottom line is, okay, what I use it for is if I'm going to do, let me bring it up here. So 1221, yellow to green. Okay, so I'll show everybody how I use it. Okay, I use this in conjunction with my seasonal system. Okay, so I like to sort by 1.0s for the ones that trigger, and these are my favorites. Okay, these are my favorites because, for example, sorry about that, I didn't mean to hit that. Okay, so for example, CGN has a 20% move coming over the next 60 days, right? So this is maybe the potential breakout right here. Now, in full disclosure, this is ranging. I'm not taking that yet. I'll let it break out first, but you get the gist. Okay. APT, again, we have a 40% move coming over the next 40 days. Is this the breakout? Could be, right? Absolutely could be now with the Laguerre and the Heikin-Ashi dot. Okay. This is the Laguerre that I've created, the trigger, right? Again, the Laguerre indicator itself is not something I've created. That is just another oscillator that I've used. I've just created the scan function here, the trigger function to show me. So if I bring up PIC, see how it's triggered here? It shows up on my scans, okay? And we also know we got a green dot because that's how we originally got this watch list. Makes sense, okay? So I look at those first in the morning that matches that seasonal movement, okay? Pretty good looking one here on SBE as well, right? Okay, MU. So here's an example where if you got in back here on, let's say 11.6, right? You stayed on Micron until 12.11, okay? See how it grabbed most of that move for you, okay? And then you had a re-trigger right here, and then you had two red things. So in this case, you'd want to be out at this point. Take your small loss and move on, okay? You would have never really wanted to enter here this close to highs though, as I mentioned. I don't like to anyway, okay? Okay, so again, that's the scan. Let me stop sharing for just a minute. And I'm going to share my PowerPoint one more time. So again, this scan, currently, as always, my launch price, I'm reducing it much more than what I'm going to be selling for publicly here soon, $249. I will put that in the chat as well, if I can find it. There we go. Oops, sorry, I hit an extra button there. Okay, now those of you that don't have Heikin-Ashi for toss as well, if you want to purchase that in addition, here's the link. I'll put that in there as well. And if you want it for TradeStation, you'll get the link. It's right here, but you'll get the link as well. Okay, in the email that we'll send out to everybody. Okay, TradeStation, it comes all in one. The Heikin-Ashi scan is $249 on sale right now. The dot for toss is $499 if you want the entire system. A lot of you already purchased that, so you're just looking to purchase the scan, okay? What's included in the scan is, again, the yellow to green and the yellow to red. So this right here, okay? And then what you can do is you can save it as a watch list, and then you have your own triggers. okay? So you get the yellow to the green scan, you get the yellow to the red scan, okay? Any questions? Again, cool stuff. I definitely think that it's something very useful for people to get back into trends or staying into trends, but scanning for Heikin-Ashi, going from trend changers, is something that I love to do, especially with stocks that have a great seasonal move. You can catch those moves several times during a nice long play, okay? Yeah, the only thing, if you don't have the Heikin-Ashi dot system and you're looking for it, the only thing that it doesn't come with is this Laguerre, okay? This is with the Laguerre radar screen, the long here. If you want that, email me. I can send you a link for that as well, okay? But you can use any oscillator you want, MACD, Stoke, whatever you prefer, or you can use the advantage of me using this is I have a program to give me the long triggers as well. That's all, okay? Yeah, the scan can work on its own, absolutely. You just need to know, so in my opinion, so if you go to something, let me just bring it back up, yellow to green, okay? If you don't have any other indicators other than price, I'd be just looking to go in the direction of the trend, right? Trend is our friend, okay? Glenn, I don't have a program right now red to yellow because I only have yellow to green and yellow to red, because to me, the key is that it's showing you red to yellow. Okay. Now, in saying that, for those of you that like TradeStation, that scanning is a little bit more powerful. It actually tells you for anything you look at, how many days it's been in a trend. Okay, so it'll tell you I've been green for 6 days or 8 days or yellow for 2 days. Okay, I do, Mike. Yep, yep. So it's right here for TradeStation if you want that system. Let me put it in the chat. And again, I'm going to send an email to everybody with that. But there you go, Mike. And that includes both the Heikin-Ashi and the scan, okay, which is phenomenal in TradeStation as well. So, but hey, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. You can see down here. Let me bring it back one more time. This is my personal cell. Feel free to text me, call me. You can always email us. But again, just try to find, these are tools I use. I only promote tools that I use. And if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, folks, see you on the next live webinar. And I wish you all a great Christmas. Take care, everybody. Bye now.